Good morning. Hello, everybody. I am super excited to share with you the very last step in our three-part process of how to write a book that gets clients begging to work with you. And today's step is one that I think a lot of people leave out. So I'm really excited to share this with you because a lot of people think, and I was one of those people for a long time, that if I have something awesome, if I have a product or a service that I know is going to get people amazing results, what I thought would happen is that they would uh, find me and they would ask me how to work with me. And that never quite happened that way. What I would get, and maybe you have gotten this, and if you have gotten this, you can share it in the comments. But I got a lot of people who said, "Someday I want to work with you. I love everything you say. It looks amazing. Someday I want to work with you." And I kept waiting for this someday to come. I was expecting them to tell me how we would work together. And the real key is, and we're going to talk about this today, is knowing when somebody loves your book exactly what you're going to tell them. So, step number one in this process is knowing your dream criteria. So, this is the secret I want to tell you. You are the one, your dream clients are ready. You are the one who hasn't shown up. And my program success rate depends on this first factor, which is knowing who my dream clients are. To my clients, I call these their ideal reader. And I want you to have the ideal reader, your dream client in mind. And your dream client is the person you know for sure that you can make a massive difference for. So you can help everyone, most likely. And a lot of you start thinking very broadly about all the people who can be helped by your knowledge, by your tools, by your expertise. But what I want you to do is actually think more narrowly. Who are the people that you can get the best results for? So obviously you can help lots of people, but who is your dream client? Now, in the past 30 days, we've had over 222 coaches and consultants apply to work with us. And so because of this, we only have 20 spots. We can only work with 20 people. So the opportunity to work with us is very limited. We usually say it's 1 in 9. This month, it'll be more like 1 in 10 applications that come in. Only 1 in 10 will be accepted. And so we're only going to pick those people we get the best results for. I call it stacking the deck. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to only work with the people who you know you can get massive results for. So people aren't dumb, right? There's a lot of false scarcity out there. This is my Birkin bag picture example. So most people think the idea of picking their clients, they're like, well, Angela, you have 222 applications. Like, of course it's easy for you. But it didn't start off that way. It started off by me saying, these are only the people I work with, and I only have this many slots. I think there's a lot of false scarcity out there of people saying like a lot of this like cart closed, cart open, there's only 2 days left, and it's all made up, right? So I want you to have real scarcity in your program. And how is that possible? Well, it's possible by getting very specific on who you work with and how many clients you can take, what's your capacity, and knowing what your, get ready for this, I'm going to give you a new term, write it down, what your service inventory is. So just like the iPhone store, the Apple store only has so many iPhones, you only have so many slots too. So like I mentioned, we've got 200 applicants for 20 spots, but how did I do that? I wrote the right book. And that's what we talked about in the last 4 episodes of this series, is knowing exactly how to attract and pull in the people who will want the result that you can get for them. So no false scarcity. So when I say the exact result that you can get for them, what is that? Well, that is the value you're going to bring to them. So a lot of people think about the cost and they think, well, if I can make it cheaper, more people will do it. But cheaper is often more expensive. And what do I mean by that? Cheaper is more expensive. Well, your time is very valuable. It's the only commodity we can't make more of. So if I sell you a product that's $97, your brain is going to tell you that's probably not going to get me the result, and I'm going to spend a whole bunch of time on that and not get the result. So everybody knows working with me isn't cheap, but our authors make back more than their investment in the first month after their book comes out. Why is that? Because I'm focused on the value that my clients are going to get more than the cost. So take a minute right now and actually think about that. What is the value that your clients are going to get from working with you? And what would that be worth to them? How much time and money and energy would they spend doing it the wrong way? That would lead into opportunity cost, maybe not working with clients, or it would lead into bigger health challenges or bigger relationship problems. I can tell you divorce is very expensive. I've been down that road, right? So what is the value of working with you? Think about that. You know, a lot of people say, you need to charge what you're worth. I think that's bullshit. Don't charge what you're worth. Charge what your clients are worth. Charge what it would be worth to your clients to have the outcome that you can give them. And that is how you price your services. So how do you do that? Well, you can't give the same value to everybody if you don't know that your clients are a good fit. So we strive to get all of our clients great results. And part of how we do that is by getting them the evidence that they are starting a movement. So in my case, what we do is very early on, we identify what is that result? What's that outcome? We're doing that in our very first days or weeks together. And because they know that outcome, we start getting evidence that they're going to get that outcome very quickly. So for us, what that means is our authors are getting clients from their book before their book is written. They're getting revenue from their book before their book is even written. How can you get a value for your clients very early in the process of working with you so they know that investing more of their energy and time learning what you're teaching is going to pay off for them? So I want you to really understand what is a good fit and what is the value you're going to bring to your clients. For me, what I'm looking for in the selection process is people who want to make $10,000 to $30,000 a month from their book in additional revenue, right? And so because I know that, we can start moving towards that $10,000 to $30,000 mark right from the beginning by using the book to get clients. For you, it might be getting more health or improving their relationship. How can you get them those wins early on? So I'm going to walk you through the criteria that I use to make sure I'm only working with clients I can get big results for. All right, so you should have this for your program too. So first of all, I only work with coaches and healers who have a business related to their nonfiction book topic. So let's unpack this. You must be a coach, a healer, a consultant. You must already have a business or be in the process of starting a business, and you must have a nonfiction book topic. Now, could I also help real estate agents? Sure. Could I also help fiction writers? Sure. Could I also help people without a business who just want to write a memoir about their year in Uganda? Sure. But look at how in just this one short not even sentence fragment here. How specific and narrow who I'm working with. And it goes even further. I only work with people who know they are good at what they do and they believe they make a difference. So the other way I say this is they have a powerful message of hope, healing, and transformation. So if they are not sure about what they do, or if they are not sure that they make a difference, that they want to make a difference, and they want to make a bigger difference, they aren't a fit for me. Now, there are lots of people who use a book to make more money in some other ways. They want to sell lots of copies of their book. That's cool. They can find someone else to work with. That's not who I work with. All right. And then this is another criteria that I have, and I call this people with a servant's heart. And that means something very specific, even though it's only 5 words you see on the screen. I am looking for people who are committed to helping others, even if it makes them uncomfortable. So this means people who are going to be okay not being a perfectionist, because it's more important for them to help other people than to be perfect. Now, who does this rule out for me? This rules out a very big section of the population. It may be you. This is people who are focused on writing a book for the craft of writing a book. We talked about this a little, I think, in episode 3, where we talked about the way of the artisan as opposed to the author's way. So if you are focused on writing the, great American book, and you are really focused on each turn of phrase and crafting your language, I am not a fit to work with you. And that's perfectly fine. I don't think that's bad. I love craft. I have bookshelves filled with books that have been crafted by artisans, but that is not what I call a servant's heart. Now, I'm a little confrontational here, and I will call that ego-driven. What I mean by that is you are writing that book because you want to win literary awards. And if it doesn't help people, that's not your primary goal. And that's fine. I love art. I buy art, right? That's a beautiful thing. Those are not my people. And then here's my next criteria. People are willing to have skin in the game to grow their movement to the next level. Now, there are a lot of people who want to win the lottery, and that's totally fine. You can hope to win the lottery someday. But the people that I want to work with are people who are like, I'm going to invest in myself with my time and my money to grow my business, grow my movement to the next level, because I know I'm supposed to be on a bigger stage, and I'm not just going to wait for some fairy dust to get sprinkled and for me to get lucky and have the new, sleeper hit, right? Sleeper hits come 1 in a million, 1 in 2 million. I personally think the best way to be discovered as a diamond in the rough is by just doing the work and investing yourself. I think I am the best stock on the stock market. I invest in myself all the time. And I want to work with people who are willing to have skin in the game to grow their movement to the next level. Now, for you, I want you to apply this to what you're working on. Maybe you help people with their health or with their relationships. And so what is your version of having skin in the game? So we get work with a lot of therapists, and their clients tend to be insurance clients, and they're transitioning to non-insurance clients. A lot of times insurance clients are only willing to do whatever number of sessions their insurance pays for, right? That is not people who are willing to have skin in the game. Now, when I started therapy, in my 20s, I did 3 years of Freudian psychoanalysis, 3 days a week on the couch at 7 a.m. My therapist lived about half an hour, 45 minutes away, but with traffic, it could be like 2 hours. I live in the Washington, D.C. area where traffic's crazy. So I was willing to get up extra early, and I'm not a morning person. I was willing to pay for therapy because, let me tell you, the Freudian analysis is not what insurance companies in America like. So I was doing 3 days a week. and I was paying for those sessions. That is a whole different kind of therapy than I want 7 CBT sessions that are paid for by my insurance and I'm willing to pay a $10 copay. So there are people out there who are like, I need to solve this. So who exactly, if you like this skin in the game criteria, and if you want clients begging to work with you, you're going to need people with their version of skin in the game. What are they willing to invest in terms of time, waking up early? We talked about all of the things in yesterday, episode 4, all of the things my authors, my featured authors, the 12 authors I reviewed yesterday, all of the things they had to give up in order to grow their movement to the next level. Now, what I have found is the better the fit, the better the results. So if you have this broad criteria of I help everyone, I can make everyone healthier, I can improve everyone's relationships, I can make everyone happier, I can teach everyone self-love. The problem is you're not going to get very clear results. That's why we want a specific ideal reader and a specific problem, because the better the fit, the better results. And I'm only looking for people to work with me who are going to have a massive win. Generally, that looks like about $250,000 within a year of working with us. And their movement is growing and they are helping people. Because if it's a win for them, here's the newsflash, it's a win for me. And if it's not going to be a win-win, then it's not worth it to me to do. And the only way I know that I'm going to get a win-win is if I have a good fit and a narrow criteria. So before you go selling your stuff, know what that criteria is for a fit to work with you. The truth is there are just some people that I can't help, that the Author Incubator can't help. And our rule is we are 100% honest. If we have an alternative to suggest, we'll suggest an alternative, right? And if I don't know who to suggest, we will be honest that we can't help them. And this happens every single day. Saying no is the key to getting people to work with you. Now, here is the deal. This program that we're doing is called Write a Book That Gets Clients Begging to Work with You. I cannot guarantee that everyone who begs to work with you is a good fit. You have to guarantee that. And the way you guarantee that is that you know what a good fit is so that you can do this. Say no. We say no to 80% of people who apply to work with us. We're saying no to. And of the people we say yes to, so of 100 applications, we'll tell 80 people no. We'll tell 20 people yes. And of the 20 people yes, 10 will come and work with us. So 10, half of them will say no to us, right? But we are saying yes to 20 people that we, out of 100, that we know we can make a huge difference for. And that is the key. So if you're glazing over here and you're missing this, this is the magic to get people to beg to work with you. Say no to lots of people. Now think about this in the dating realm, right? It makes perfect sense if you think about it in dating. If there were 100 guys who asked you on a date and you said yes to all 100, there wouldn't be 100 guys asking you on a date. But if there are 100 guys asking you on a date and you say no to 80 of them, you suddenly get more interesting and there'll be another 100 guys asking you on a date. See? So scarcity, that false scarcity, I think is total bullshit. Real scarcity, which is when you are super selective about who you work with, that is part of the magic of what gets people begging to work with you. Because you're not going to say yes to everyone. Because if you say yes to everyone, you're kind of just a slut, right? It's not very exciting. Not slut shaming here, but I'm just saying most of you are like, when I say something like, write a book that gets clients begging to work with you, or, pick your clients, people are like, I just got to take what I get. But if you're just willing to take what you can get, who wants to work with you? Do you want to work with just think about it with you, right? Who you would want to work with. Would you want to work with someone who would take any client, like any old client? No, that's not very, that's not very appealing, because then you're like, oh, they must not be very good. If there's a restaurant that you walk by and the restaurant is empty, does it make you want to go there? No, it is much better to have a smaller restaurant that's full than a big restaurant that's empty. So be willing to say no, and be willing to only take the clients that you are 100% sure that you can get results for. So here we go. Once you know this criteria, okay, and once you know exactly who you can get results for, there's a second step. And I talked about this a little bit about the beginning. A lot of people want their clients to tell them how to buy from them. It's very exhausting for the buyer. You have to lead them through a process that makes it super easy for them to know if they're a fit. So it has to be super easy for you to know if they're a fit. It has to be super easy for them to tell you it's a fit. So I'm so excited to see all of the light bulbs going off for you guys watching. Okay, so don't expect your clients to tell you what to sell them or how to buy from them. So don't say to them, don't give them choices, and don't say when you're talking to a client, like, what do you think would help you? Because why would I buy from somebody who doesn't know how to get me the result? There's only one way that you know to get people the result in the best way, right? Only offer that one way. Don't make this a multiple choice question. Don't have a sliding scale. Don't confuse people. Make it really easy for them to give you a yes or a no. I'm going to tell you how my process works. And by the way, if you're thinking about working with me, this is good for you to know. So the first thing is, you have to decide if now is the time to work with me. Now you have to decide if now is the right time for you. So I'm not going to go begging you. I'm not going to go chasing you. If you are not ready to date, I'm not going to be like, hey, do you want to go on a date, right? Because I know that at some point you're going to end up getting cold feet if you don't initiate this. So first thing is, we have an application process. And if you want to check this out, it's at theauthorincubator.com/apply. And you have to fill that out. I don't fill it out for you. That tells me now is the time for you. That's one of my criteria. And if it is, you will complete that application, and then someone on my team will interview you to make sure that we can help you, to make sure that for us it's a fit. If there is a fit for us, we schedule an interview with you. And on that interview, you will decide if it's a fit for you. And we tell you that before the interview. We give you videos, we give you preparation material, but you're going to make that decision when you are on the interview with us. There's not going to be a lot of back and forth. There's not going to be a lot of, you can ask any questions you want on the interview. It's a two-way street. But there's not going to be a lot of hemming and hawing and deciding. You're going to decide on that call. And if it's a no, we're going to honor that, because that's part of how we'll know if it's a fit. So what is the way that you want to take people through your process to make it super easy for them to decide yes or no? I'll tell you what, one of the keys here is you have to have one product you're selling them. And that's very scary, because it means you're going to say no to lots of people. Remember, we say no to 80% of people. Only 20% of people end up on the interview. And then once you're on the interview, half the people are going to say no to us. I get rejected all the time. And I reject people all the time. And that's perfectly fine, because if we weren't going to have a big win together, why go into the relationship? So for us, an application is key. If you don't have an application, you might want to think about that. We call this the first step on your book journey, and it tells us if we can help you, if we're the best team to get you the results. It also tells us that you're ready to step up, commit, and take the action required to get the results. If you want me to chase you, if you're not willing to fill out an application, then every step along the way, I am going to have to be chasing you. So one of the things I learned from doing work with horses, doing coaching work with horses, is how you do anything is how you do everything. And so when you work with horses, and some of you out there may have done some of this work, it seems like irrelevant because what would a horse have to do with me? But the way you communicate with a horse is how you communicate with your clients. Well, this is the same thing with the application process. If people aren't willing to do the application, if they half-ass it and they write like one-word answers, that's what they're going to be like when I work with them. And so exactly like somebody just commented, the application was fun. It was like part of the publishing task list. Exactly. That application is what it's going to be like to work with me. How I do anything is how I do everything, right? It's a two-way street. So you get to see what it's going to be like to work with us. There's going to be work. I'm going to expect things of you. It's going to be a little hard. So if you can't do that step, there's no need in me trying to sell things to you, right? If the application is strong, it will lead to an interview. In your case, you might call this a discovery session or a strategy call. But this is where we begin to take a serious and honest look about our client's dream for their book. And we figure out how to make that dream come true in the fastest way possible. So that's the other thing. This word fastest is in all caps for a reason. Your clients can find the solution to the problem that you solve in slower ways. They can have trial and error. But working with you should be the fastest way that you know to get them that result. And when you go into that strategy session, for us, it's an interview. It's a publishing interview with our acquisitions editors. I want you to go into that with 2 ways to win and no way to lose for both of you. 2 ways to win and no way to lose. So what do I mean by that? So here's how we think about it. At the end of the call, one of 2 things is going to happen with our client, with our prospects. They'll either be a fit, mutual fit, 2-way, win-win, and we get started right away, or there's not a fit, and that frees that person up to go find their right coach or their right project. Elizabeth Gilbert talks about this in her book, Big Magic, so beautifully, and I absolutely love it. There is so much creative power in saying no. One of the things that we don't do is we don't let people on our interviews say maybe. The reason we don't let them say maybe is because that holds space for us energetically to not be taking people who are a perfect fit, right? And it holds space for them to not be taking action on the right next thing. So what I believe in the soul of my being is their right next step, they will know. It will be a hell yes. And you've seen this, if any of you, I got married very spontaneously, my first marriage, and it was clearly a hell yes. I'd been dating the guy for 3 months, and he was about to get sent back to his home country, which was India. And so we just got married so that he could stay in the country. It was a hell yes. There have been many times in your life where you knew something. Maybe you didn't know you were going to buy a car, and then your car died, and the next day you bought a new car. So there are no hard feelings. There are no obligations when it's a no, but I only want people who it's a yes. And that's how there's 2 ways to win. Because if it's a no, it's a huge win for both of us. They weren't going to get the results. I wasn't going to be happy. I'm not their perfect person, right? So I want your clients, when they're talking to you, to only work with you if it's a hell yes for you and if it's a hell yes for them. If it's not, it's a win for them to say no. It's a win for both of you if they say no. So we want to make your interview process, we make our interview process insanely valuable so that each and every person we talk to walks away with newfound clarity about what's holding them back and the difference they want to make. And if they have the clarity that I'm a hell yes to get them that result, if they know they want to make $10,000 to $30,000 a month and they want to be held accountable for that and they want to have skin in the game, it's going to be a hell yes. That's going to feel great for both of us. And if they walk away with newfound clarity that they don't really want to write a book, or they don't really want to put skin in the game, or they only want to do it if they win the lottery, then that's a hell yes too, because they can go back to their life without making the investment of time and money to work with me. And they can be happy waiting for the right thing for them. So we want to make sure that the hour we spend with people on their interview is the most valuable hour they invest in their business all year, whether they work with us or not. Right? And that's what I want you to do. When I call this the servant's heart, right? That means even if they're not paying you, you are going to show up and serve and get them to a place of clarity about whether or not they want the result. Now, if you're mushy about the result that you get people, you're not going to be able to make that hour with you or half an hour with you on your clarity call or your strategy session. You're not going to make that insanely valuable because what you're trying to do is get them to buy. If you are trying to get them to buy, you do not have a servant's heart. You are leading with your ego. If you go on to a sales call thinking, I hope this person buys from me, which is not a thought I ever have. If you have the thought, I really need money, how can you have a servant's heart? You have to show up and say, I am going to give them this hour of my time. I am going to serve them from the core of my being 100% to get them to a place of clarity. If it's a hell yes, awesome. Then we start working together right away. If it's a hell no, that's awesome too, because they get to go back to getting the results that they want. They get to go find the person that they want to work with. For me, I know that people who have the ability to make decisions quickly and act quickly are the ones who are most likely to get results with me. Those are the ones who are my featured authors. Those are the ones we end up crushing it together for years to come. And one of the things you may have noticed with our featured authors in episode 4 is that many of them have written multiple books in their first year. I think at least half of them had written 2 books and many of them were in the process. These are people who I'm going to work with for years and years and years. And that is part of my criteria. Is if you can't make decisions quickly now, you're not going to have success in the program because I'm going to be asking you to make decisions quickly all the time, right? Maybe that's not how you work, but the point here is for you to have your criteria. So those are the 2 big lessons today. Know who's a fit and make it easy for them to buy from you. If you can do that, you will have clients begging to work with you because you're willing to say no to some of those clients begging to work with you, which makes you more attractive because it is clear you are only working with people you can get results for. So I mentioned you can check out our application at our website, theauthorincubator.com/apply, or you can go to Write a Book That Matters, and you can see if you meet our application criteria. And that is it, my friends. We have had 5 amazing sessions together where you have learned all of the secrets to writing a book that gets clients begging to work with you. If you haven't checked out all 5 episodes, episode number 1 is about writing a book to your ideal reader, picking the right book topic. That is key. Episode number 2 is knowing how you're going to make money from your book. Episode number 3 is about the biggest mistake that new authors make. About 80% of new authors make this mistake, and it stops them from getting the result they want. In episode 4, I gave you 12 case studies. It's our only episode that is 45 minutes instead of 30. 12 case studies of people who followed those first 3 secrets and made a difference with their book. And today I taught you exactly how to set up your client criteria and how to sell to people so that you get more people wanting to buy from you. You can find all of the episodes at facebook.com/theauthorincubator and go into the video archive, and you will find the 5 episodes of Write a Book that gets clients begging to work with you. Mwah. Thanks everyone for being here. It's been a great session. It's been awesome to see all of you at all of these. Thanks again for all your time. Hope you learned a lot. Put your comments in. I'll be commenting on everyone. Bye.